question. It's, do you guys ever get uncomfortable with how sexy you guys really are?
My mother's in the audience.
Shut it! Hey, you're so good.
Do I ever get uncomfortable with how sexy I am?
I do.
Oh my god, Pedro.
Just say thank you. What's that?
I feel quite uncomfortable right now.
Oh!
Just take a sip of the beer. Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
This is for Richard. Sorry, Pedro. I know we've been BFFs this weekend, but...
We got to talk yesterday.
Yes. When you first started on the show, was there any point when like the cast kind of all looked to each other and was like, this is something magical? Did you ever anticipate, you know, crowds like this and, you know, Pedro just went to San Diego, like crowds like that would come out? I know there was love for the books, but...
I never anticipated it, and actually, we were just talking about this before I came in. When I first went to San Diego Comic Con and got there, and I'd not really caught up with it in my head. I knew, you know, I didn't get to see so much of it. There's, you know, parts of the kingdom I didn't see, bits that weren't, you know, I never got to see filming or actors I didn't get to meet. And, you know, and for me, I didn't go down to Croatia and stuff, so all of the time I'm just in Northern Ireland shooting a television show, so I kind of the scale of it didn't come into my head until I was standing backstage at Hall H at Comic Con that first year, and I could hear everyone outside, and that's when I was like, oh, God. I had to kind of put my head between my knees for a minute and just and take deep breaths. I was like, wow, this is massive. I thought it would be like a really great like cult hit, because the writing was so good and the concept was so great. I had no idea it was going to be as big as this, so there wasn't any kind of concept going, wow. And even, you know, it was funny, even going into season 2 or 3, you know, you kind of constantly feel like, well, this could be it finished. You know, people might not like it after this season, or it might be rubbish. So there was never like a
or like Ashley, or if there was any.
So I was like, we've got to do it right, and you know, all these people who've read the books owned the characters before we did, so it was constantly kind of trying to do that justice rather than kind of congratulatory to the feeling on ourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When you guys found out, like, you were gonna die, did you know in advance about other actors' deaths, and when you didn't like them, you're like, yeah, like, oh, you're gonna die this way?
What?
Not usually. But I know of a big death next year.
So did the
and that's all I can say.
Yo! What? Oh my god.
No. Sorry.
What? I can't hear it either, so
did they just spoil?
We're all listening to it together.
Alright, so...
I can't
Oh my god.
It's torture. Sorry, that's torture.
What the fuck?
What were your acting techniques to get into some of your more intense scenes that you had to do, like your big fight scene that you had to do when you died, Pedro? Like, what were your behind the scenes? What did you do to get into that moment?
You know, that's a really good question. I did, you know, on the practical side of things, they put me in training with a master of wushu, and I got to learn the basics of that style of fighting, and then there were really extensive fight rehearsals, so as far as the fight was concerned, so much of it was occupied by that sort of physical challenge. And then, more important, was the emotional catharsis that the character arrives to, and in avenging his sister's death. For me, I have an older sister. She is my best friend, and she's 2.5 years older than me, and it was very, very easy to connect to that part of the storyline for me. There wasn't, all I had to do was imagine anyone doing somebody in my family any harm, and I'd probably, you know, go after their asses like over and over.
So how did you see yourself in relation to your characters? Like, in what sense could you relate to them?
I think there's parallels for me with Rob Stark being, you know, a young man and just like a young actor just starting out in season 1, and you kind of in bits and bobs, and then as the season went on, he kind of got a bit more responsibility put on him, and I kind of, and I started to get more, you know, more scenes where I was driving them and more drama, so I kind of always felt a bit of a parallel there between Rob kind of and me being an actor, starting out and trying to do something and then suddenly having to kind of be leading scenes and working on it, so I always felt a parallel with him there.
Okay.
And hopefully my career will tie up one of the day.
Now, who is your favorite character to do a scene with? Both of you. And why?
I don't want to leave anybody out. You know, it's interesting, and I mean it. You often get asked, like, who do you want on the throne? Who's your favorite character? Who would you want to play if it wasn't you? And it's such a hard question to answer, because as you guys all know, there are so many characters on the show, and there are so many wonderful characters, but it's really, really hard to choose. I mean, you know, acting with Peter Dinklage was an absolute creative high for me. You know, that can't be matched. Strolling through the gardens with Lena Headey, you know, in Croatia, and was doing scenes with Charles Dance, you know, and like, you know, stepping to him and stuff like that. So I couldn't choose one over the other. I really couldn't.
I'd always choose Captain Stark, Michelle Ferry. What an actress, right?
Mama's boy.
She was just always so outstanding to work with, and we became really good friends, and when we got on set, we had such good trust together that we could just act and be honest and play these scenes out, and you know, every day working with Michelle was a joy, even if we were kind of up to our knees in mud in a field in Ireland. I got to have some really good drama with her, so she was my favourite.
Thank you for bringing such good characters to the show.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
What up, Comic Con?
Damn.
I had a couple SoCos this morning, not gonna lie. So, in all seriousness, this is for both of you stud muffins, okay? What is your favorite cocktail, and when can I get you one?
I don't drink.
You little shit.
Not a beer? Not a beer?
I'm easy. There's a whiskey on the rocks.
Oh, whiskey! I'm down for that. You got
Dark.
Tequila.
Come to kill her.
Yeah,
No tequila.
No tequila.
Thank you guys.
Hello. I'm a librarian, so I wanted to ask you if you had read the books before auditioning for the show, and what do you think of the relationship between the books and the TV shows, and if you think that promotes reading?
I think so.
I hadn't read the books before auditioning. I was just a fan of the show. I started looking at the books after I got the part, and now I covet the opportunity that once now that it's over for me, and it was sort of like a brief experience, I get to continue enriching my Game of Thrones experience by reading the books and starting from the beginning. And I think it should promote reading. I think that it's a special show because of how well it adapts very, very popular books onto a television series in a very uncompromising way. I know that they changed some things up, and ultimately, after working with David and Dan and everybody there, it's so their highest intention is to satisfy the fans and to tell the stories to the best of their ability and to the story's potential. You know, that's what they care the most about. You know, they don't want to change anything because to make it their own. They want to tell the story as best as they can to make everybody happy and get to experience it, you know, in an even more intimate way. So, read the books, watch the show.
I think you know, you read the books and you get so much more from the show. There's especially having characters like Littlefinger and reading the books and knowing the ins and outs of those relationships. When I see it on screen, I know all the undercurrents, all the subtext that's going on between characters. So yeah, and now I see a lot of people walking about with Game of Thrones books, and I don't know if they were avid readers before, but I know that, you know, lots of people come up to me and say, I didn't really read much, but I've read all the books twice. So hopefully,
So thank you for that.
thank you.